before E3, you played a lot of Rage 2.
Yeah, I went to Sweden and checked out Rage 2 at
Wait, you went to Avalanche?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Holy cow, how was it?
It was real fun. The food was really good, but the game was super fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I really dug it. Bert's played some of it today, so I don't know if he agrees or disagrees. But I played the original Rage, and I thought it was a pretty good time. But I really like Rage 2 because it reminds me a lot of Bulletstorm, you know, in terms of wackiness and like how the gunplay feels and just overall tone.
Yeah.
You know, except for the weird sort of seriousness sometimes in Bulletstorm.
Oh,
where it's
in
just
Bulletstorm,
like,
okay.
yeah. But I really liked it. We didn't get to see the open world. That's my big concern about the game.
It was just like a little combat arena?
Yeah, it was just a little combat arena. I think Bert's played the same demo, but like it hits all those bullet points that you want from like an id Software game.
Yeah.
Like the combat is fun. There's its own kind of rhythm to it. It's super gory if you're into that. Like the dismemberment is great. Yeah, so I really dug it.
Yeah, I'm never going to be the guy that turns down id designed weapons, you know, like they're just fun to shoot, you know, and the game has that kind of like heaviness to the shotguns and the accuracy that you want out of an assault rifle. You know, it feels good. And the powers that they give you, it feels different than Doom does. You know, like you're not as fast. You don't have the parkour stuff. You can do some slides and stuff like that. But, you know, like you have the ground punch thing that kind of knocks everybody back. And
you also have like a telekinetic
overdrive
blast that you can like blast people out of like the second floor of like a broken skyscraper, which is real fun.
Are you worried about the open world? I mean, it's coming from an open world focused studio, so it feels like that's the least of my worries.
I'm worried.
Really?
I mean, I think Avalanche makes interesting worlds and sort of with wacky tone, but their worlds are often pretty sparse and also like technically unsound. So that's my concern. I saw none of that.
Like, can you preserve id's extreme performance when it moves into a wider open world than what we had in Rage, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and like in the initial trailer, I remember there's this one shot where the player is throwing around what's basically the Kroll thing,
100%,
the wing stick, like it's straight up the Kroll stick, and he's in the middle of the desert, and there's like just a bunch of armies, or there's just like a bunch of bad dudes he's fighting in the middle of nowhere, and it just looks totally unappealing, and like the developers just loaded up like that part of the map and just did spawn 20 enemies just for a test.
Yeah.
And you know, that's I'm concerned that's what the open world gameplay will be.
Interesting.
Like,
all right.
I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong, but like when I envision like, because so much of id Software's like combat is in tight contained spaces or like corridor areas, like even Doom, like its biggest areas were not that big. They were chambers, you know? So I'm really curious about if that combat loses its rhythm and tactical appeal when all you have is an open sprawl.
Did you get a better sense of how they're divvying up this workload between id and Avalanche? Is it just kind of id in name only and Avalanche is...
No, this is... What I took away from talking to them both was like it was pretty 50-50. Like
50-50,
this is
really?
this is like a collaboration. Like like it's just two studios actually working together on this whole thing. id Software just didn't go, oh yeah, here some tech.
Right.
You know, like they're actively working together is how they explained it to me.
Okay.
Like until this thing is done, like constantly every day.
That's wild. And so like the tone of the marketing is very, people have commented, it's a little bit like Borderlands. I think it's a good marketing campaign to get people interested in Rage 2. Does that come across in the gameplay as well? Does Andrew WK constantly come out and play concerts or anything like that?
Well, I'm not sure what you're asking here. Are you asking me like if someone saw this marketing campaign and said, okay, this looks more like Borderlands and sat down to play this and they expected Borderlands type gameplay, would they be disappointed?
Yes.
I think incredibly yes.
It's not, I mean, it's not co-op. This isn't a game where you're going to get hundreds of different weapons that I'm aware of. You know, like...
No, it's not crazy novelty, pink explosions everywhere.
Yeah, numbers aren't flying from people. And like the enemies don't feel like bullet sponges too. Like they actually feel like reactive enemies that sort of, you know, squeal in pain or when they get shot.
Yeah, they might take a clip to take them out, but that's because you're kind of taking armor off of them. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, they don't feel like weird sort of enemies from an MMO, which is why I've never really liked Borderlands that much, like the combat in it. Like it just feels like, oh, there's numbers flying off of this guy.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so feeling good about it overall?
Yeah, I feel like half of the game is solid.
Okay.
Like the whole shooting and close quarters combat is solid. You know, there's nothing really to be worried about there. But like the other half of the game is that open world, and I know that Avalanche has built, you know, a reputation of making, you know, fun open world games. But this seems more precarious, I think, and I need to see proof that like the game is fun in those open spaces.
Yeah,
is
for
where
sure.
I'm at.
That was just a clip from a larger show called The Game Informer Show. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or GameInformer.com. We take the fun opportunities and exclusive information from Game Informer magazine and boil it into a show that airs every Thursday with exclusive cover story information, developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So come love games with us.